Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Before I start, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Salsabila Today, I will be presenting my individual video presentation for proofreading and editing too. For this presentation, I will be breaking my analysis down into 6 main sections, starting with original assignment, language error, context analysis, content analysis, overall analysis, and lastly, conclusion. Moving on to our first section, I do a proofreading analysis on students' assignment of a movie review report. As you can see, I have highlighted several errors using a color-coded system. I analyzed the document by 3 categories: language error, context, and content error. In these categories, there will be corrections and justification included. Through my analysis, I categorized the language error into 6 main types, which you can see listed here: capitalization, spelling, punctuation, article usage, verb tense, and number expressions. In total, there are 11 language errors. I will break down each of these categories using tables to show the exact sentences where these errors occurred and how they should be corrected. Let's look at the first capitalization error. In the first error, the article "the" was incorrectly capitalized inside a proper noun phrase. Social penetration theory is a proper noun. Article "the" is not part of the title, so it should not have been capitalized. In the second error, we can see that the alphabet W is not in uppercase. A full stop indicates the end of a sentence. The next word must begin with a capital letter to establish a clear sentence boundary. Next, spelling error. We can see that for the first error, the word focus, F-O-C-U-S, was misspelled as focus, F-O-C-U-E-S. And the second error, the word scene, S-C-E-N-E, was misspelled with an extra C as sense, S-C-E-N-C-E. Both words need a proper spelling to ensure smooth reading and convey the intended action. Moving on to punctuation error. As we can see in the table, both errors identified here involve missing commas. In the first error, a comma was missing after the introductory phrase "or for short." Adding a comma right before SPT ensures proper grammatical structure and isolates the abbreviation correctly. In the second error, the original text, "people always share some little things about themselves as they have to take time." I added a comma right before the word "as" to provide a necessary structural pause which separates the independent clause from the dependent clause and makes the long sentence much easier to read. Let's look at the article usage error. For the first error, the original sentence used "in a beginning." I corrected this to "in the beginning" because the definite article "the" is required when we are referring to a specific, distinct point in time. In the second error, the original text listed the stages of SPT, but skipped the article "the" before exploratory phrase. I added article "the" right here to maintain grammatical consistency and parallel structure across the entire list. Let's examine how verb tenses were used in the report. In the first error, the student wrote "the movie that I chose." I corrected this to the past tense "chose" because the action of selecting the movie happened in the past and is completely finished. Looking at the second error, the original text states "they have start to peel." Because the word "have" is used here as an auxiliary verb, the verb that follows it must be in the past participle form. Therefore, I corrected it to "have started" to ensure a proper grammatical structure. Last one for language error is number expression. In this example, we can see that the original text states that there are 5 stages of SPT. I corrected the digit 5 to the fully spelled out word 5, F-I-V-E. According to number expression rule number 1, numbers from 1 to 10 should always be spelled out as words. However, an exception occurs when a sentence mixes both numbers above and below 10. In those cases, they should all be written in figures for consistency. For example, such as writing 5 out of 12 stages. Context analysis. The report is situated for an academic audience, such as a lecturer. We can see this because the writer uses advanced terms like social penetration theory right away without a simple explanation. This proves the text is meant for scholarly readers and is less accessible to casual readers. Second, the writer explains the theory based on the movie Nanny MCV as a real-life example. This was a smart choice because it helps ground the heavy academic theory and it makes it much easier to understand. Next is content analysis. This report is prepared for the subject Introduction to Communication Theory or COM 158, follows the correct academic setting and formatting rules. Second, while the writer made sure the plot details were accurate, they inconsistently use subject-verb agreement throughout the text. This shows that while the overall layout is good, the grammar needs much more proofreading. Lastly, overall analysis. Despite the minor language errors I found, the original report has two clear strengths. First, it successfully uses a basic academic structure and applies the correct social penetration theory terminology. Second, the writer effectively bridges storytelling and theory by using the movie examples to explain how this concept work in real life. To wrap up, the report has several language, content, and context errors that lower its professionalism and clarity. These mistakes can easily confuse the reader. So, a good proofreading and editing is necessary to make the report effective and impactful. That is all from me. Thank you.